Testing.
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, you need them for that. I'll run and get them. No, I think they're in my office. I will go.
So, you know, I'll just ask you to do that. And I apologize. I should have.
And I have to water anyway, so it's good.
And we're still 3 minutes early.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2.
Check, 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 check. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to B'nai Israel, and we're very excited. It's going to be a very special night. Tomorrow, Nathan Fry will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah, and we celebrate with his family tonight. And we welcome our IAC. Sometimes I get the letters mixed up. I got it right. We welcome the committee, and we look forward to hearing about the conference and how learning from what happened when you were 2 weeks ago, right? All right, we will welcome Shabbat on page 128 with Hi Ne'ma Tov. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Again, welcome. We now turn to page 120 for Hadlakat Hanerot, Kindling the Lights of Shabbat. Leslie Moretta and Gina Fry, Nathan's grandmother and mother, lead us this evening in candlelighting. Candlelighting is found on page 120.
Please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We now turn to page 138. We continue to welcome Shabbat. We welcome Shabbat as a bride. We sing L'chadodi. This evening, as has become sort of customary here, we're going to be singing the first and second verses of L'chadodi on page 138, and then on page 139, the ninth verse of L'chadodi.
L'chadodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'litila. L'chadodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuvenelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'machshava tehila. L'chadodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, bo ichala Lechadodi lekrat kala Penei Shabbat nikabila Lechadodi lekrat kala Penei Shabbat nikabila.
We turn in our prayer books to page 144. Nathan leads us in the Chatzikara.
Yekara v'yekara shmei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei. Becha yechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala uv'izman kari v'meru.
Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam V'Me'amaya Yitbarach
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitshomam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei Kedusha
Brechu
Le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushvechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma v'meru.
Amen.
Please rise.
Page 146. 146.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We turn to page 148. Nathan is our reader.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai HaMahari Barafim.
Page 150, we read together Everlasting Love. You
Offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever.
Day and night
we will reflect on them. For they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Abed.
Please be seated. Page 154, we join together with Nathan in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol בכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוק בך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. We turn to page 157. Nathan is our reader.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Mi Chamocha will be found page 158.
Ya bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum. Mi chamocha v'chlim Adonai, mi chamocha nehdar b'kodesh, norati lo. Sefele, no rati lodo sefele. Yam bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum. Malchutecha rahu vanecha. Bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe, Zeli Zeli anu ve'hameru, Adonai himloch leolam vahe. Ya bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya bum bum bim bim bum, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum, ya da 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 da, ya bum bum bim bum.
We turn to page 160. Nathan is our reader towards the bottom of the page.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Yismechu will be found on page 162, the second Hebrew paragraph on the page.
Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Mikadasheh Shvi Shabbat, בטובך שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת רצית בו וקידשת שבת חמדת ימין עתו קראת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
Please rise.
Our service continues, page 164. We're going to be chanting with Nathan and Linda, the prayers beginning on page 164, continuing to page 170 on the right-hand pages, the even-numbered pages.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi aki tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Kaneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Lifnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Hoser Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atavrav Lehoshia, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berakamin Rabim, Somech Noflim Velofeh Holim, Umatir Asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We turn to page 173. Nathan is our reader.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. May this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. In one of the most quoted encounters in Jewish tradition, Hillel was once asked to summarize Torah as his questioner stood on one foot. Hillel replied, "What is hateful to you, do not do to any other person. That's the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Now go and learn." His message, belief in a higher authority, is ultimately translated into our behavior towards other people. At each service, we pray for shalom, for peace and inner peace, for peace inside ourselves and in our families, schools, communities, nation, and people. As we pray for peace tonight, singing Shalom Rav, page 178, let us reflect on how we might extend shalom to others.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lekol Shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lekol Shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. B'tov enecha livarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom. Baruch atah Adonai say Shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. Tasi Leolam.
Pause for a silent meditation.
Page 180.
Ose shalom b'meromav, uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom b'meromav, uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Michelle? Oh, pardon me, Michelle, one thing. There we go.
Good evening. The reason I'm up here as president of Sisterhood is to present two of our 7th graders with their Sidurim. When the students come into the school in the 3rd grade, Sisterhood presents our students as they begin their B'nai Mitzvah lessons a Sidur, so they have their own, so they can study at home and practice. Nathan is a little bit late as he gets his next gift from Sisterhood, his Kiddush Cup, tomorrow, which is very exciting. So Sisterhood likes to play a part in every student's Hebrew learning, starting their lessons with the Sidur and culminating with the Kiddush Cup at their B'nai Mitzvah. I have one here for Nathan. This is for you, and we hope that you'll use it and learn with it and continue your learning. And I have one for Lily Sleepboy. And that is for you, and we hope that you will use that. Thank you.
Thank you. Even after tomorrow, plenty of opportunities to use this Sidur, and trust me, it's a really good one. In the Sidur, on page 371, is our prayer for healing. And each Shabbat we pray on behalf of dear ones within and beyond our congregational family. We articulate the hope that they might know comfort and support. I invite you now to raise your hand, and after I silently acknowledge you, speak the names of those persons not on our prayer list for whom, likewise, we should pray this Shabbat.
Pam Gallup, Gordon Titcomb, Neil Jensen.
And we add Howard Zucker, Arlene Zucker, and Adam. Page 371.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lehabotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
The APAC Policy Conference is the largest Jewish gathering. It's the largest pro-Israel gathering in America. 18,000 activists over 3 days, including many college and high school students. While many are Jewish, there's also special outreach to African Americans, to Hispanics and Latinos, and to Christians. Lots of people across the denominational spectrum and across the political spectrum: Democrats, Republicans, unaffiliated, independents. Speakers from the United States, from Israel, from around the world. Lobbying meetings in congressional offices. In addition to that, this is the 9th year we've sent a congregational delegation. And we were represented by a delegation of 8, 4 others of whom are with us tonight and who will momentarily share their thoughts and highlights. Personally, my favorite part each year is the workshops. This year, I attended 2 related to the Palestinian Authority and the peace process, both of which deepened my understanding immeasurably. Bottom lines: 1, there's no choice but a 2-state solution between having an Israel and a Palestine. Every other option will be more violent. And second, the Palestinians are not ready for this. They are far too divided. I was proud of Paul and Alice, our high school students, in our APAC lobbying session with Representative Johanna Hayes, which I had the privilege of chairing. The Congresswoman hadn't discussed Israel much beforehand, and she indicated that she is in favor of a Jewish democratic state of Israel, and that she was looking forward to an ongoing conversation with us as she gets up to speed on the issue. She also said she didn't want to be defined by any other member of her freshman class, which I took positively. It was also great to hear Benny Gantz speak about inclusion. This vision nearly took him to victory in the election to become Israel's next prime minister. I also enjoyed a side trip to the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum with Lisa and with Allison, as we got a special tour about Southbury's role in the current exhibit, America and the Holocaust. Having been involved in this project for several years with our congregation and community, playing an important role in sharing the story, this was a great moment of pride. Finally, our delegation took back interfaith group singing by Kululam. Lisa suggested that one of their videos open our last Three Amigos conversation held here this past Monday night. I had forwarded it to Monsignor Joe, and he told me it was so inspirational he wept. It spurred such a wellspring of emotion. On reflection, I see that it's part of what APAC does best: identify trends and heighten connection. So I've already registered for next year and look forward to our delegation's return next year. And I'm delighted to invite forward our IAC chair and I guess the leader of our delegation, Hadar Lubin, Dr. Hadar Lubin, for her thoughts on this year's policy conference.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, I'm Hadar Lubin, and I'm an Israeli, but I've been in this country for many, many years. And to this last APA conference, excuse me, was my 14th that I've been going, and actually after 5 years into it, I spoke to Rabbi, and we said we must bring delegates from Bnei Israel. Every year, it's been 14 years, I never skip a year. Every time I go, I learn a lot, and hi Paul, I didn't see you. I learn a lot, and what is amazing is to really be in a company. When I went the first time, it was 3,000, and I thought, oh my God, 3,000 people who are really like-minded in terms of the importance of the Israel-America alliance. And today you'll say 18,000, and they capped it, by the way, they can't take more. So it is amazing. I want to share with you actually one of the workshops I attended to. It was focusing on the way the Israel is being covered in the US media. And it was kind of a damning perspective of how the media is portraying Israel. And they include all the leading newspapers. Some of them are probably quite popular in your household. First, they said that there is quite a problem with the coverage of the Palestinian Authority. Quite often, Israel is being covered, but there is no cover of the incitement against Israel. There is a lack of discussion about the internal policy within the Palestinian Authority and their governing. In fact, most Americans don't even know how it is run and what kind of decisions are being made. But most can read every day what's happening in Israel. There is a lack of historical context. They say that they can win each argument depending when you stop the clock, depending when you make a reference to when history starts. And that has been a problem. The other problem was actually focused on the newspaper per se. They said that, which I didn't know, but there is what I'm citing, dictatorial group of editors that decide what to publish. And the editorial perspective affect the news coverage. So the news is not actually democratized, it's kind of more politicized in the point of view of what kind of information you will get. They also said that the news must serve the agenda rather than provide information. There is no fact-checking quite often. And actually, when opinion comes to the front page, which happens quite often, there is a collapse of standard within journalism. And lastly, they said that quite often, because of the 21st century, information goes so fast that there is really no time for fact-checking. So there is a collapse there. Therefore, they concluded that there is need to be a democratization of the news, and also to remind the readers that we are what we read. I failed to mention that we had an Israeli newspaper journalist, an editor-in-chief of the Allgemeiner newspaper, David Efyun, and Andrea Levin, who is the director of camera. So it was a very wide, broad of perspectives. And I'm finishing here. I don't know if you saw it actually yesterday in the New York Times, in the front page next to the black hole. I'm sure you've seen that, the picture of the black hole. Very next to it was an article about Netanyahu winning the election, which is the news, of course, regardless of your opinion about Netanyahu. But if you read it, that was exactly the example of where it wasn't only about the fact, it also was about the opinion placing. So, for instance, in the article, they concluded that the election of Netanyahu will fail any kind of peace without any mentioning of the PA, the Palestinian Authority. They mentioned an apartheid state. And also, lastly, they actually cited that the Israelis viewing Netanyahu's bullish PowerPoint presentations. And in the presentation, it mentioned economic growth, increased credit rating, diplomatic opening to the world, and new trading partnership with Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So again, the flavor is as if it is a failure to accomplish all of this. So I'll stop here, and I'll please, if Alice, if you can come in.
Alice, come on up, and as Alice is coming up, this is where Hadar's workshop and mine sort of coincide. So as they're talking about a lack of context. So an example, the leader of the Palestinian Authority is Mahmoud Abbas. He is in the 14th year of his 4-year term. So there was an election held 14 years ago. There was to be another election 4 years after that. He just hasn't had elections for these last 8 years.
Hello.
Alice?
Oh, that was really loud. Okay. I'm Alice Manning. I'm a senior in high school. I was lucky enough to attend the APAC Policy Conference for the 3rd time just a few weeks ago. It's really mobilized me as a student to look in the future of my career. After my first time going to the policy conference, I really decided this was something that I wanted to continue doing. I'll be studying political science next year and for the next 4 years at college. So that's really something that has inspired me to take action, whether it's on this issue, other issues. Is it too loud? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Also, something that has been a reoccurring theme throughout the past 3 years is the BDS movement. They talk about it every year, which a lot of people in this room probably know, but it's the movement is encouraging institutions, companies, schools to boycott, divest from, and sanction Israeli companies, institutions, people. And it's really discouraging. And recently, I'm attending Barnard College in the fall, and there's been a lot of publicity about at Columbia a strong BDS presence, and it really gives me anxiety because of the reasons. Obviously, I support Israel, and this conference just makes me feel like I have the tools to fight it in any way that I can. Thank you.
Speaking of our youth, Paul?
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul. Like Alice, I'm a senior in high school. I will be attending the University of Kansas next year. Unlike the rabbi, I am not signed up for next year's policy conference. I intend to go with Kansas's Hillel. Obviously, I can't do that until I get on campus. But so this was my third policy conference, and I guess through the past 3 years, my involvement in politics, my interest has evolved and grown. So this year I was able to, I guess, understand everything that they were talking about more than usual. And when I got home, I kind of reflected on everything, and I realized that regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of how you might feel about AIPAC's politics in general, I think AIPAC is really one of the few gatherings in America where everyone can really go and support Israel wholeheartedly. So I think while I might not always agree with what their speakers might have to say or what they specifically have to say, I think it was really a good culmination of the support of Israel in America, in Israel elsewhere. For me, my favorite speaker was Benny Gantz. He talked a lot about unification between Jewish Israelis, Arab Israelis, Christian Israelis, as opposed to just speaking about the Jewish portion of Israel. And then he did a good job of highlighting that while there is the Palestinian government and there are groups like Hamas that are not in favor of a two-state solution or Israel in general, he did a good job of highlighting that there are Palestinians in Palestine, obviously, that are good people that do support Israel and the establishment of Israel. And I thought that was definitely good because not everyone pointed that out, but obviously that didn't translate to a successful prime ministry bid. But I still thought he spoke very well, and I think he was a good representation of the more, I guess, centrist side of the Israeli conflict or talks in general. Alice and I also got the chance during our free time to visit the African American Museum. So if you haven't checked that out and you're going to be in DC, unrelated to Israel or Judaism specifically, but it's definitely a neat place, and you should definitely take the chance to check that out. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Lisa, we're going to ask you to bring it home, and then we're going to have some questions.
I'll bring it home. Okay. I'm very impressed that everybody is able to speak off the cuff. I had to take notes. This was my third year also at Policy Conference, and as always, the weekend was a time of excitement and ruach, which is spirit. We saw presentations from Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Rabbi Rick Jacobs to music sensation Kululam that Rabbi mentioned earlier. The vibe in the convention center was electric, and there wasn't a moment that wasn't filled with something new to learn or experience. At each policy conference, as I've said, I've been to 3 of them, I always make sure to take a breakout session on the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and each time it's like I'm learning all about it for the first time. It's just so complicated, so it's really fascinating. I also like to take a session on theater, arts, or performance in Israel. So this year I went to a presentation about Fauda, which is an Israeli television series. It's a show that's not for the faint of heart, but as I've started watching, it's excellent. The writers of the series have drawn on their experience in the Israeli Defense Forces. Fauda means chaos. The most meaningful breakout session I attended was about innovation in Israel. Avi Joris, how do you say his name? Jorish? Sorry. Who wrote the book Thou Shall Innovate, moderated and presented Yotam Pulitzer, who's the chief executive officer of IsraAid, and Giddy Grinstein, who's the creator of TOM, which I'll talk about. IsraAid, for those of you who don't know, is an organization that responds to humanitarian crises around the world, such as the Nepalese earthquake, the Ebola outbreak in Sierra Leone, and the Japanese earthquake. Their goal is not only to help people in need during a crisis, but to be there after the crises to assist people in getting their lives back together. For example, not only were they the first responders in Puerto Rico after the hurricane, but they are the last group still remaining in Puerto Rico to help the victims. And they don't just aid countries or peoples that are friends of Israel. They even go to areas where diplomatic relations with Israel are strained. They're building bridges. They're helping Muslim refugees in Germany. It's a wonderful organization to support and learn about if you have the opportunity. One of the things that Yotam shared was an experience that he had helping a Muslim refugee who said something to him like, "You're supposed to be my enemy, but yet you are my friend." So it's an amazing, amazing organization. Giddy Grinstein is on the advisory board of TOM, which stands for Tikkun Olam Makers. He shared with us the background of this amazing startup. I'm going to use the TOM website description. They're a global movement of communities that connects makers, designers, developers, and engineers with people with disabilities to develop technological solutions for everyday challenges. The designs are free and for any user to adapt for their own needs. This group has made a significant difference, especially for many poor and neglected individuals who have special needs and don't have the resources for equipment that help them live more successful and independent lives. There are TOM organizations all over the world. In fact, I believe in January there was a whole weekend at Vanderbilt University where they did a TOM marathon of creating things for people with special needs. It's really fascinating. I mean, they use 3D printers and volunteers who help individuals. It's amazing. You could check out more about this organization on their website, which is tomglobal.org. And the largest message that I took out of this breakout session is the importance of moving beyond connecting Israel with the Palestinian conflict and with the Holocaust, but connecting Israel with all the positive stories and amazing innovation and heart that Israel brings to the world. So it was an amazing experience. Next year, it's going to be fascinating because if it's anything like it was in 2016, they will probably have all of the candidates come and speak. Which is just incredible. So if you have the opportunity, come. It's awesome.
Great. Thank you.
All right, so we have time for questions or any reflection. Some of you may have been in APAC in a different context, or if you have any other thoughts or want to ask any of the presenters a question.
I speak really loud, so I'm hoping maybe I won't. Alice mentioned earlier the BDS movement, and I'm hoping that we at B'nai Israel can put together some sort of workshop or program that will bring in students of Alice and Paul's age, maybe even younger, who are preparing for future college experiences to learn how to confront the BDS movement when they meet them at school. So Alice, Paul, I'm hoping that maybe you can help us with that.
Yeah, actually APAC is very good in being in most colleges now and immediately connecting with these Jewish population. But I think it's a great idea. I know that you were always interested in that.
So loud, I can speak without it. Here, let me give you this one and I'll take it.
Any other questions?
I just to follow up to the DDS question and education of of our students, especially those who will be in colleges soon, because there's some very hostile environments there that are professionally run by anti-Israel organizations. But the point I wanted to make is that BDS, the reason that some students who don't have the background of the history of Israel and Zionism and the Palestinians just think that BDS is supporting the underdog, and it's a very easy sell for those who just don't have the background. So in planning some programs here at B'nai Israel, I think that's the kind of thing we ought to expand further on. And of course, understanding the history. Sorry?
What IAC has been trying to do.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
This is more a comment, and one of the things that you take away, I think, from AIPAC is as we look at our own country and don't agree with everything that happens in our government, that doesn't mean we don't support America and love being American citizens. And I think it's important that even if you do see negative things or you read negative things in the news or things that you don't agree with, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue to support Israel. That's one of the takeaways that I had when I left AIPAC is I don't always agree with everything that happens in the government, but I support Israel and I love Israel, and we all should.
And we have a number of, whether it's middle school students, and we have some high school students, the burning question, when can you start going to policy conference? When you're in high school. So it's not too far off in terms of the opportunities which will do that. And we've been very fortunate for several years in that we've been applying for grants through the Jewish Federation Foundation. And as I wrap up, I actually want to thank the Federation and the Federation Foundation, because their support has enabled us to bring young people for the last 3 years to the conference and bring others to the conference. And it's really, as you can hear in Alice's remarks and in Paul's remarks, it's quite impactful. And so we're doing some really good things.
Yeah, come judge for yourself. I think you will not be disappointed.
I feel like a tech person, but so we're going to turn to page 586, and we're going to invite forward Rita Fry and Jesse Fry, Nathan's grandmother and dad, to open our Ark for the Aleinu. The Aleinu is found on page 586. The Aleinu that we chant is the second paragraph down on the page 586. Please rise.
You have to use your muscles. That's it. Good. Aleinu l'shabeach lahadon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kugei havratzot, velo samanu kimish vechot hadama, shelo sam kelkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, vahanaknu korim, umishtahavim humotim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Please be seated. We're going to take one more minute.
Emor v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihei Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
We turn to page 598. We now call to mind our own beloved dead. I ask that those in mourning or remembering the anniversary of the death of a loved one and who have trekked to this sanctuary during Shiva or Shloshim or for Yartzeit, should you be able, please rise when their name is mentioned. During Shiva, we remember Andrew Rabinowitz, stepfather of Shari Abelson, in-law of Ken Whitmire, grandfather of Matthew and Ben Whitmire. This Shabbat, remember, during Shloshim, we remember Toby Berkowitz, mother of Jeff, Jean Ryak Levin, aunt of Sandy Slater, and Amos Kloner. This Shabbat, remember the Yartzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Max Berland, Franklin Danon, Joseph David Dover, Frida Erlanger, Jenny Berman Finkelstein, Henry Fleischman, Bertha Fleischer, Rita Friedman, Molly Goldfarb, Joseph Halperin, Celia Kozersky, Meyer Land, Albert Leopold, Helen Friedman Paritz, Ranny Ranzer, C. Howard Shore, Rabbi Jack Stern, and Edward Trard. If there are additional names to mention for Kaddish this Shabbat, please feel free to rise and say their names now. A practice within our congregation is to further consider these people. If you're comfortable so doing, we now invite you to share with this minyan a brief reflection or reference about a dear one on our Kaddish list.
This was quite a different month for us on February 27th. We lost Papa Prasidi and now my grandchildren, Andrew and Lauren, only have 3 living grandparents. This brought a lot of memories back for my daughter, so instead of me telling you about Joseph David Dover, I would like to read a paragraph that my daughter sent. Because I was so young when Grandpa died, it's hard for me to remember specific things. Things I remember are more general, like eating sandwiches and drinking bowls of hot soup in their apartment in Jefferson Valley. My granddaughter is very close to my daughter. So. Also, I remember and associate certain smells to him, like the smell of cigars. I think I like the smell of cigars because they always remind me of him. I can give you one story that affected me as an adult. I lost my job at the Carroll Capital and became really depressed. I was in my home office cleaning out some drawers and found a letter that Grandpa had written to me. I didn't remember this letter or realize that I had it. For whatever reason, finding and reading the letter made me feel better. It was like Grandpa was watching over me and telling me not to worry and that everything would be okay. I truly believe he is my guardian angel, just like Lauren believes that Papa is hers. Rabbi Jack Stern is our rabbi who was just reformed temple for many years. He was wonderful. He got next to my daughter and died the same year. And he was the person that was storyteller.
We also recall those American troops have died recently in Afghanistan. Corporal Robert A. Hendricks, 25, Sergeant Benjamin S. Hines, 31, Staff Sergeant Christopher K. Slutman, age 43. Each Shabbat, we also mention 6 names amongst the 6 million murdered in the Holocaust, the Shoah. And we now remember Anya Isaacson, Dora Lashinsky, unknown Portman, first name unknown Portman, and Isaac Gelfgott. In remembrance, in solidarity, and on behalf of those for whom there was no one but us to say Kaddish, we now invite all present to rise, if you are able. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra chirute, v'amlich malchute, b'chayecho v'yomecho v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'alam elalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zuchanam levracha, may their memories be for blessing, and let us say amen. Please be seated. Adon Olam is on page 625.
Adon Olam asher malah b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chesochol azay melech shemo nikra v'acharei tiklok hakol livado yimlok nora v'hu haya v'hu hove v'hu yiyeh v'tifara v'hu echad bein sheni v'hamshilo lehavira v'himrushit v'litatli v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai go'eli v'turkevli v'etzara v'hu nisi humanosli menat kosi b'yom echra b'yado afkid ruchi b'etishan v'ahira v'himruhi kiviyati Adonai li velo hira.
Lisa?
Shabbat Shalom. How'd it feel tonight? Good?
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so too. Well, you did a great job tonight. It portends wonderful things for tomorrow. I'm excited for you. Thank you for leading. Does anybody have any good news, birthdays, or anniversaries? Yes. It's your actual birthday today? Awesome. Happy birthday.
And Sunday is Matthew's 17th birthday.
Happy birthday, Matthew.
Ready? Ira celebrated his 80th birthday.
Wow, Ira. Send Ira hugs and best wishes. And Sameach, Yom Leah, Sameach, Yom Leah, Sameach, Yom Leah, Sameach.
Where were you when they sung you home, Yom Huledet Sameach? You can say, I was in shul.
Right.
So.
Your actual birthday. So tomorrow is Nathan Fry's bar mitzvah at 10 a.m. On Tuesday will be Rabbi's adult discussion group at 11 a.m. Friday, April 19th, will be Erev Shabbat services at 5:30, and at 6 p.m. will be the B'nai Israel Community Seder. Please RSVP in advance, it's required. Walk-ins cannot be honored at this event. On April 22nd, have you ever wanted to learn Torah trope? Join Sisterhood as they delve into the wonders of trope. This class will take place over a 4-week period. Please call Michelle Rosen or Susan Pinsky-Bleeks or our office for more information or to RSVP. On April 24th at 10:30 a.m., join Sisterhood for a book discussion on Inheritance by Danny Shapiro. Rochelle Gershnow will be moderating the discussion. Great book. I read it. Really interesting. April 29th, a priest, a rabbi, and an imam. The Three Amigos, Part 3. Join them as they take their show on the road to Waterbury at the Albanian Mosque and discuss the story of Joseph. I'm sure many of you were at Monday evening's event, and it was amazing. So I highly recommend heading over to the mosque. I'm sure it'll be just as wonderful. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by the Fry family in honor of Nathan becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow. Mazel tov. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. And Nathan, I think this Kiddush Cup has been in your family for 13 years minus 8 days. So this is for you. And please join together with us in Kiddush. Kiddush will be found on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon ihilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikraye kodesh Zecher l'tziat mitzrayim Ki banu b'charta V'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha Be'ahava uvratzon Ichaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat Amen.
Not bad.